Abraham was a man of immense wealth, managing a sprawling enterprise of flocks, herds, silver, and gold. But as he reached old age, he faced a crisis. He had just buried his wife Sarah, and his heir was left without a partner. This put the entail of the covenant at risk. A covenant is a solemn, binding legal and spiritual agreement that establishes a permanent bond between parties. If the grieving Isaac did not find a wife, Abraham's entire legacy would reach a dead end. The local Canaanite population offered no viable options. Their culture and practices were entirely incompatible with the specific vision Abraham held for his family's future and the requirements of his agreement with God. To solve this, Abraham needed to secure a compatible successor from his distant homeland in Mesopotamia. However, he refused to let Isaac travel there himself. If he couldn't bridge this geographical gap, the system would fail. Abraham summoned his eldest servant, the man who managed his entire estate. He assigned him to act as an autonomous proxy, capable of executing this high-stakes search on his behalf. This logic tree shows the absolute input parameters Abraham programmed into his servant. The servant must swear an oath. He cannot select a Canaanite. He must travel to Mesopotamia, and he must never take Isaac back there. The servant placed his hand under Abraham's thigh to swear the oath. In the ancient Near East, this physical gesture functioned like a smart contract, a self-executing agreement where the terms of the deal are written directly into its logic. Loaded with high-value goods and 10 camels, the servant departed. He was now an isolated operative bound by strict parameters, tasked with finding a specific individual hundreds of miles away. The proxy arrived at the city of Nahor in Mesopotamia at evening. He parked his 10 camels beside the city well. In the ancient world, the well functioned as the central data node, the one location where the entire community eventually gathered. This UI panel shows the conditional algorithm the servant established. An algorithm is a set of rules used to solve a specific problem. His rule was, if he asks a woman for a drink, and she offers to water his camels as well, then she is the appointed match. This bar chart compares the math behind that condition. A thirsty camel can drink up to 30 gallons of water in minutes. To water 10 camels, a person would have to manually draw and carry hundreds of gallons of water from the well, one pitcher at a time. The radar chart illustrates how this test bypassed physical appearance to focus on high-threshold traits. By requiring a woman to draw and carry hundreds of gallons of water, the servant was filtering for the physical stamina and hospitality required to lead a major household. The servant didn't leave the choice to personal preference. He built a self-executing behavioral trap designed to identify a specific anomaly among the local population. Before the servant even finished establishing the parameters, Rebecca arrived. He initiated the test immediately, asking her for a sip of water from her pitcher. Rebecca executed the exact requested output. She gave him a drink, and then immediately volunteered to draw water for all 10 of his camels. The servant watched in silence as she finished the task. He then began a verification process, discovering that her metadata, the underlying data that describes the origins and relationships of a person, proved she was precisely from the branch of the family Abraham required. He initiated a handshake protocol, a standardized process for 2 parties to recognize and trust one another, by transferring high-value assets, including a golden earring and heavy bracelets, to open formal negotiations with her family. After hearing the terms, the family agreed. But the next morning, they tried to delay the departure by 10 days. The proxy refused, demanding the contract be executed immediately, since the search conditions had been met. To settle the matter, the family called Rebecca to secure the final authorization. They asked if she would go with the man, and she provided the final opt-in, "I will go." By combining this conditional logic with Rebecca's physical stamina and personal consent, the proxy secured the partner Abraham needed to preserve the family line. The return trajectory began. Rebecca left her old life behind and traveled across the desert with the servant, heading toward Abraham's camp in the South Country. As they arrived, Isaac was meditating in the field at evening. He looked up and saw the camels approaching. At the same time, Rebecca spotted him. Upon learning that the solitary man in the field was Isaac, Rebecca took a veil and covered herself, signaling her readiness to integrate into her new role. The servant completed the final data transfer. He recounted every step of the journey to Isaac, confirming that the mission had been executed according to Abraham's exact parameters. Isaac brought Rebekah into his mother Sarah's tent. The marriage was finalized, and through this successful migration of roles, Isaac found comfort after his mother's death. The concepts of smart contracts and algorithmic filtering were operational 4,000 years ago, ensuring the survival of the family lineage Abraham had worked his entire life to establish.